definitely Azimio TV gives you those issues that are social and are dealing with what is happening on the ground. And today, watu wangu nakwambia siku ya leo tuko na the voice of the ghetto champion, the ghetto warrior. This is somebody that anytime there is a situation in the ghetto, he's right there to provide a solution for the ghetto people. Watu wangu, muko tayari? What the hell are you waiting for? Can I young make money anymore?
Thank you.
Who are you?
What are you?
What the hell are you waiting for? Can I young make money anymore? Apple too. Can I young make money anymore? Anyway guys, he's gonna introduce himself. Kwa wale ambao hawamjui lakini sisi sana tunamjua. Ni aje bro?
Poa.
Uko fiti?
Kabisa.
Na kuona uko strong.
Kweli ya?
Umechangauka wewe.
Kabisa any day.
Yes. Watu wako tayari kungoja.
Safi. Kweli asanteni kabisa. And thank you for being with us. Na kwa kuwachi channel yetu fiti kabisa. And I feel very honored. Very honored. Kama majimaji kuku kwa Azimio TV.
Majimaji unajua wewe ni mtu ambaye you've seen it all.
Yes.
Naweza kusema yani because you're one of the first artists who come up na song yenye ina revolutionize the industry na ina merge zone ni mbili. Unaona?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've been through it all. Na sasa tuna Kindiki. Ametoka na amebonga. Kindiki amebonga sana, ametatisha. What's the difference between hiyo time vile wale masieso walikuwa na bonga hiyo time na maandamano vile nakuja sahi? Difference iko wapi hapo? Kindiki vile amesema unaonaje?
Kindiki amebonga poa. First of all kwa kutake time yake na kubonga leo. Kimimi kama mtasharifu like kutoka kitambo inaonyesha it's no longer business as usual. Wameamka wakasema vijana si joke, wako serious. They're addressing a very serious issue. So Kindiki venye amebonga na try kuambia we will treat you as we've treated any other rebellion.
Maandamano za kule nyuma.
Hiyo ndio kitu nimeona. Secondly, pia nimeget ni kama hawako rada. Juu hawaelewi for the first time wana face kitu aina kichwa. They are used to saying au ni Raila tutamfanya hivi, itakuwa mtu wa State House anataka handshake sijui. Now it's a different thing, it's organic, ni real, they don't know how to handle it. Nimeona amequote vitu mob pale. Watu wakwe orderly, but they've been orderly. The young men and women have been orderly. Gen Z wamekuwa orderly. In fact, ni mapolisi ndio hawajakuwa orderly. They've killed 2 of them so far.
Rex pale.
For no good reason. Mwenye alikuwa tu na simu na brain yake amemadwa. Alikuwa na simu, brain na courage. Courage to speak what's ill to the society. The other ones usually alipigwa nini mabengo. Balls. What business do you have as a man with somebody else's balls?
What's your business there?
Till Jama, boys and a daddy. And all, if you look at their IDs and the age, they tell a lot of an irresponsible government. An irresponsible police. So Kindiki spoke well, but he missed speaking out on the irresponsible force.
So basically,
kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa kwa ground on Thursday.
Lukucheki.
Vijana walikuwa organized, vijana walikuwa peaceful, walikuwa objective. They said what they meant. They quoted the constitution. Walispell vitu wadai. And above all, they sang the national anthem. And order number 1 is when the anthem is sung, you stand at attention and respect your country and your flag. How do you shoot such a person?
Na leo amekuja anaongea tu kuhusu demonstrators, aongea kuhusu makarao.
Hajaongea
aguzi makarao.
Hajaongea who shot this young man.
Paka leo hatujasikia
who shot the other one. Hajaongea. Amesema tu mkuje, mkwe orderly, nikati tunaenda parade ya shule. For God's sake, we are going to defend our rights.
Yes.
Majenzi wana defend rights zao, and they are quoting a very critical issue, and they're engaging on a public document which is owned by the citizens. Now the president spoke to it. He's proud of the young guys.
Yes.
So treat them as such. So kila kitu amesema imekuwa kifanyika. But kuna critical, nikisikia hiyo speech yake nikianalyze, there's the hidden loud voice. What Kindiki said is tomorrow kwa protest there is an unlikely guest, an uninvited guest. An invited guest ni ule jamaa anasema mimi siko na nyinyi kwa hii bill. That is what Kindiki said. Kama tumeisikia poa, alisema there's an unlikely uninvited guest mwenye ata challenge kitu nyinyi mnafaitia, na akikuja mumtreat as equal. So in short, wenye wana support na wenye wa support, wale wamevaa t-shirt na jeans na sneakers wapigane kwa street. Wale wamevaa masuti na tie wenye mabritons wanataka in order of parliament wapigane kwa viti na kwa microphone tuone kwa TV. So tomorrow there's an unlikely guest. That's what I heard from Kindiki. There's an unlikely guest coming on stage tomorrow who will oppose the cause. And even when Father Kasema, they'll remain neutral, sit and watch, unless mbomoe duka, muaffect biashara, ama kitu ingine ya mtu mwingine. So in short, piganeni, unless mnaguza duka mtu ni sawa, juu mtu akutaki na wewe umtaki, sasa fight imeletwa kwa streets. Message to them is there's no old man who will be for the bill. There's no old man or woman who will be against the bill. There'll be all young people on the street who have a future to defend. Nyim kifika streets, unite and ashame the devil.
Maji.
Yes. Unite and ashame the devil tomorrow.
Kwa sababu ile kitu mimi nashangaa.
Hata leo simuona ati parents wanaandamana kwa street ati wanataka chance ya kuuza CBD.
Nikashanga wanatoka wapi hao parents?
Tunajua nyama kima venye kuko tukuje Moi Avenue tomba tufike hapa Joma Paro tunajua pale wako.
So
walijiorganize wapi? Ati wana mpaka bani imeprintiwa na font kali. No. Let the Gen Zs be. They're speaking truth to power. They're speaking issues to power. They're speaking issues about their lives. They're speaking issues about the next generation. The next generation. They're speaking to their parents. What brought that is the lack of courage of the future and the past, and they took the space accordingly.
Maji. Kesho maandamano Tuesday. Hata Twitter hivyo. Kwa sababu ukiangalia pale Twitter kuna clip ya baba imekwenda trend. Akisema mko tayari Tuesday. Mko tayari? Sasa unajua last time tuliona Gen Z. Tuko bado pale kwa Kindiki. Tuliona wasa wali extend. Wasa akapiga sherehe. Ngome kaekwa pale Avenida hapo. Ngome kaekwa. Wanapiga sherehe paka hata masaa 6. Is that the way forward for kesho?
For kesho, mimi siko part of organization.
Yes,
I don't know the program. I don't know anything. But siwezi bonga what will happen or what should happen, how it should happen. I'm not even.
But is it okay kuendelea time? One of the things Kindiki amesema ni time pia. And one of the do's and don'ts. Wanasema watu wanafaa kuandamana kuanzia hii time mpaka time fulani. But tuliona wase wana extend.
Sasa si maandamano imeisha. Nani mavijana?
Yoshika.
Na hii street wanatembea gaderi na ngoma inaba. So wakati wanabambika na ngoma au pia kwa maendeleo wamemaliza maandamano. Sasa wanakula happy. Sasa walikuwa maandamano wako wana dance. Wako wanakunywa tei. They were serious about that business. So pia wanaweza sema si tushamaliza maandamano, nyinyi makarawe ndeni home, si tunataka kuingia kwa maclub. In fact tunataka kudance hapa chini. Shida iko wapi?
Hebu kienda tu atesi.
Shida iko wapi?
Na majipaji nimefanya vijana because Gen Z all of a sudden wamekuwa wako bold kwa politics. Na all along, hata nakumbuka last week, members of parliament wengine walitoka out wakasema wase wenye wanaandamana pale nje ni watu hawajui kile wanaandamana kwa sababu hawana reason kwa nini wako kwa street, hawajui ni nini wanafanya. But Gen Z ukiangalia zile maclip, kuna dem fulani kwa naangalia, sijui kama director kona atachezea clip. Kuna dem fulani alianalyze vizuri sana. Akasema hii bill na hivi na hivi na hivi. The courage imetoka wapi?
They've broken down what they are against. They've given proof why they are against. Our bongi, our yap. They know what they are doing now. Let's talk about courage. My school of thought ni kuwa Finance Bill 2024 inaweza kuwa ni trigger. It's a trigger. But hii kitu tunaweza sema inatoka mbali. Yeah? And without missing my words, let me say this. It sounds like a Robin Hood, a fake Robin Hood story. And the finance bill is a bloodsucker Dracula on your ICU bed. So will you let the Dracula suck your blood, or with a little you fight to survive? Hapo ndo tuko. Now let me get into context. Elections 2022. If you look at hizo promises zote, yeah? Na uangalie pali tuko, clearly you can tell there's something amiss. Na mimi siongei juu ya story ya ni story mama mboga pia nasema. Ni aje? Story ya mtu boda boda pia nasema. Ni aje niko kwa electric tena nilipe taxi ya battery. Unaona? So we've come all that way from promises tuko hapa. Again, look back, fake Robin Hood story. We've come back from a narrative of the rich versus the poor. But after, what happens? Hapo ni lie one. So now you're in power. Watu wanangoja?
Wapi maasla?
Watu wanangoja delivery. Instead of delivery, we have the finance bill 2023 hike taxes.
More pressure.
Hike. Raila comes in the picture. He's told this is political. Oh, you want what? That passes. Wanameza. After Raila's vocal and action on ground, anasema fine, if I'm the problem. Wanalenga. Next, hatuna pesa, tunafaa kulipa deni. Unaona? Wenye hata wakwa na hiyo audacity, wanabeba 20 million all of a sudden.
Charge.
3 million all of a sudden. Sijui kuna tournament, badala kubeba ball na uniform, jamaa amebeba do hivi. Anapita nao katikati ya uwanjo. But the next day statement ni hatuna pesa, hatuna nini. All these things people are watching. Usisahau. Kuna wale watoi walikuwa nafanya wasome majuu pale Eldoret. Wanafaitia do yao. Na hiyo do hawakutoa ni maparo. So wanashindwa, mzazi wangu unanyamaza hapa na unaumia daily. Na mimi ndo nilikuwa naenda kusoma sijaenda. Si ujifaitie, mzazi ametulia ati ngoja kidogo na mtu wetu wako kwa power.
Unajua hata mimi majimaji
kijana anaamua wanafaitia sulio na ule deo.
Nicheki.
So hizi vitu zina happen zimetoka mbali. Nachora tu
watu wamekuwa na observe.
Nachora tu venye tumeenda. Hiyo story hatujui iliishaje. Walitulia ajui venye kaliisha. Move on. We start flying all over the country. All over the world with striking deals.
200 million.
Naona? You're talking about 20 million in ndege, si ndio? But you see, as a state person, it requires you, when you say you have a gift, you declare the gift and who gave you the gift and for what reason the gift is done. Inaulizwa kuna jibu. So Watu wametoka from one after the other, one after the other. Okay. Now there's the word complacency. Now a generation becomes complacent. Ile 2027 nitafika, nitadili nayo. Ama bora ni survive. Complacency. It's up. Na ukirudi home unaambia ukijana ama your daughter siko poa. Unaambia wife siko poa. Next week tutakuwa poa, haikui poa. But they keep hearing, kwa nini haiko poa? You're saying vitu zimechange, job ni hivi. There are parents who've lost their jobs. There are companies that have closed down. These children are listening. They are the sons and daughters of this parent who is mentally disturbed at home and frustrated. So what do they say? This is my dad, this is my mom.
Yes.
Mental health ndo hiyo. Pia mimi niko na mental health. I can't go out. Fee yangu haijalipwa. Tumekula meal moja. And the only reason they keep hearing and seeing is the government.
Yes.
And the arrogance.
Unajua nini
That is what is happening.
Unajua nini Majimaji? Mimi tangu nizaliwe kama mistaria bibi. Sijaiona fundraising mtu ametoa mitambao. 20M. 1, 2, paka 20M. And like you said it, the next day anasema hakuna do.
Sio enda anasema. Bosi, lazima tulipe deni.
Na mabeste zake.
Lazima tu raise taxes tulipe deni. So, complacency is a disease. So there's a generation that got complacent.
Yeah.
And there's a generation, but when Raila took charge, they doubted, crucified him. But the young guys didn't. Now they borrow from the courage. No maana wako na courage kusema baba kaa kando.
So
it is not a joke. Mtu akichukua ni joke, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. So even Nomina has explained, but also we must look at the trigger.
Yes.
Arab Spring. Egypt ilikuwa nini? Baba mboga, kijana mboga. Situation ni hard, akajiban. I'm not saying we are going through a revolution, but there's every recipe. Weeks ago kabla hizi vitu zihappen, nini umeona? Let me bring to your knowledge.
Yes.
The reactions uliona online when kijana about Ian Njoroge, uliona nini?
Walikuwa tu sawa. Yaani walikuwa tu sawa vile alifanywa karao.
Exactly. The young people were like
ni sawa tu.
In fact na need Bulls 24. Na ndikuva hiyo jersey Bulls 24. Now the system overlooked what the young guy said. Karao aliniomba 10k sina. Na nilishamu offer ile niko nayo. Same time boy alikuwa na rush ku please madhake, nimerudi na gari twendeni church. The system overlooked. So they looked at what's bad on the 19-year-old and did not look at the system. What was wrong with the police officer? Then one of the police officers who arrested him kwenda kotini ako kwa robbery. The system overlooked. You think these young guys are on?
Anaona.
And they were waiting Ian Njoroge akwendani. Me, I look at social media, I see, I read. I know the young people energy. I relate. Niko na majenzi kwa nyumba, I relate. Ian Njoroge was a trigger. As much as it's a little thing and the state might treat it as such, it was a trigger. Then Ian Njoroge anatoka cell blocks. Amebebwa na makarau 20 something nikaa madam say. Mkono imevunjika, amefungwa hivi, ameswell. There are alleged reasons of being sodomized. What do you think the young guys are saying?
Na ndo the same situation Majimaji unasema na Kindiki hata sahi. Vile umeanalyze your situation, your video unasema that amongia on only one side.
Hajaongea about video inaonyesha there's CCTV, there's everything.
Evidence iko.
Siwezi sema hiyo ni evidence, but there's a serious allegation recorded.
Si kuna wale ma Twitter nini, ma X.
He speaks to
okay,
tuseme hiyo video ni wrong. Sio huo jamaa. But shouldn't you speak to it? President ako church ya HURU. He offers an olive hand to the Gen Z. The Gen Z are mourning one of them who died in their cause. You're in church. Should you speak to it?
Analenga.
There's every recipe.
Majimaji.
It's all written.
Majimaji. Tumeona pia vijana wanabudaktiwa. Tana? Unaona? Unaingia X unaangalia. Unaona huyu jamaa ameshikwa. Chaprado. Akachiliwa. Tumeona mwingine anaitwa Shad. Ameachiliwa. Leo nimeona ni Boniface Mwangi na Hanifa. Pia wameenda hiyo I think the same way.
Sijui ameongea kitu mimi hiyo kushikwa kupeleka hivyo ni kitu ina happen kawaida, but kitu ningependa kujua ni nini wameongea huko ndani. Hiyo ndio mimi nilikuwa nawaza sasa umeambiwa nini huko. So I'd also like a one-on-one with all those guys, like while you're in there, what did they tell you? Ama ni kuuza tu uoga?
What's going to change your mind?
How are you going to come out compromised? Are you going to come out true to the game? What were you told in there? Hiyo ndio kitu ilikuwa na kwa mind yangu sana. Juzi vitu zo hapata unaweza bebwa tu hata saa hii kwani wewe unafanya nini na maji pale kwanza. Unaona? Wewe vitu zo wapi?
Wewe baba, wasana kugotea sana. Majimaji. Watu tuingia hapa kwa comment section pale YouTube. Wasome bambika sana. Tunaona hapa msanii wa Grace Biggie. Anasema we don't want electricity throughout the country installed by the government. People can do so on their own or even install solar panels. Fix the blackout issue fast. Others are talking of sanitary towels. Really? Is this the reason in her mind to pass the bill? I wonder how the people wherever she came voted for her. Nonsense. Kuna msee hapa anaitwa Play KE 2874 anasema see the Rex killer there. Na make up hiyo video. Lakini unasema hiyo video Majimaji hizi kuwa ni evidence.
Kwa nini sikuwa evidence?
Na makara wa X washaitoa.
Cheti karawa.
Makara wewe sasa ivuta.
Kuna ruma pia ni makara pia wametoa, wameuza ile yenyewe jo best kuja ameblanda ndo huyu.
Ndo huyu hapa. Ile kado.
Kuna hiyo pia but whether it is true or not, why don't you follow up on the video? Una address the nation and you don't talk about the murder of two young guys whose parents wanalia, and there's every evidence wameuliwa kwa protest ya Thursday. Those are the things that na trigger vitu. Those are the things.
Na nilikuwa nasikia wanasema one of the major reasons kwa nini wase wanashikwa sahi ni kupeana manamba. Unaona? Umetoka kwa X umepea namba ya KJ, umepata namba ya Jalas.
So unashikwa je?
Unapata na wase wanasema hiyo ni kama umebreach privacy umse.
Sasa litezi nikiomba namba yako na ni kitu ya roho safi nikipeana. Nimekumesa ama nini? Si mtu aliniomba roho safi je nipatie namba KJ, nimwambie jo zile vitu amesema ni fake. KJ mwenyewe ameomba msamaha. Ameandika handwritten, the day I'll never forget. Composition KJ, the day I'll never forget. I wronged you, Jensi. I spoke in parliament, said unprintable things. I was in the spur of the moment. The day I'll never forget. Composition ameandika handwritten.
Lakini kuna wale walikuwa wanachachisha. Nilisikia Mili akisema kuna vijana nao pia walikuwa wanachachisha, wanaenda overboard. Unaona? Unaona pia
Mimi sikusikia hiyo.
Wajibaji. For the last 1 week,
Mimi sikusikia.
For the last 1 week, walienda kwa vote no. Na just vile umetouch on KJ. Kuna a sense of ni kama wameanza kuretract. Hata Kimani Ichung'wah ukisikia vile alikuwa anaongea ameanza kurecognize hii Gen Z. Ni ukweli ama ni gozi ya kondoo? Unaonaje?
Damascus wokovu ni real. Sasa mtu wako kama akasema nilikuwa mwizi. Ndo vitu kaa hizo, lakini a day after jo. I think to the strategy, there was a meeting at the State House that how do we manage these people without being aggressive? So I think that's a strategy that says it's a listening government. I think you're the strategy.
Ya kufanya watu wanaonekana wanasikia.
Si ati kufanya watu, maybe ni true. Wanaona hapa jo atuoni sura Raila. Sasa let's listen. Maybe it's a listening government. But maybe it's a strategy because unachangeaje mara moja from speech ya KJ urudi kwa hii. Yenye hata unaweza shtuka, but majenzi si mafala. Nimeona wakirudisha. Wanarudisha pia nasema
Si Sudi alikuwa anasema, Oscar Sudi alikuwa anasema yeye ndo alienda akasuka preso asikie. Sudi alikuwa anasema I had a meeting with the president and I told the president to listen to the Gen Z. Oscar, kama wata change.
Oscar Sudi akona influence kwa preso ni ukweli. So wanaga kishekans kwa koti nini kila mahali wako fiti, so maybe it's true. Maybe it's ni mabeshte wametoka mbali. So wako close, so maybe akoda hiyo influence. Nyejo mimi mtu wa ground venye nasikia hebu tuliza boli. Tuliza hiki kitu sio venye tunafikiria, and it's true. It's not what any other ordinary politician thinks. It's so organic. It is very organic. Boniface Mwangi maboy wakienda State House. I think Boni aliwaambia msiende State House for your safety. Walirudishanga unatuambia kama nani. So wako very organic. They are very serious about what they are saying. They are articulate. They can justify everything they are saying.
Yes.
So it's good to listen.
Yes.
It's good to listen and also take note of what they are saying.
Yes.
But on top of it all, wanasema after all this some of issues that we are saying, we have concluded that reject the bill. So it's good to listen, but at the end of the day,
tumeamua
reject.
Yes.
Financial bill 2020.
Na kuna clip flani ya Uhuru, by the way, imekuwa ina do rounds, ina trend. Uhuru akion Kenyans, akion leaders, akiomba that this, wacha tuangalie clip kwanza, tuchambue clip.
Right.
Wacha tuchekio clip, tuchambue clip.
The second big problem we The second big problem we have.
Sahi mzae unye ina go through mind yake akiangalia situation kitu alisema,
let us not cheat ourselves.
And I think this is at that time that unye alikuwa watu wanampiga vita sana.
We have
I think he's going through his mind right now.
First of all, let's get your speech
that if not properly handled,
speak to
can be a time bomb
from wisdom
that can blow this country.
I may speak to information. One thing we must know that the head of state, an advisor, including NSIS and so many other people who advise him accurately and analytically. So when you hear a president speak like that, don't take it for granted. Ako informed, ako analytical, then based on his character, anawachwa play to wisdom. So this was a real threat to his legacy and development of the country and cohesion of the country. We want to speak to economy and I speak to how irresponsible politicking in affect economy, in affect cohesion. And in a speak to when you two heads, for example, the president and the deputy, are not in sync, how it affects entire teamwork in building the economy. In say your cabinet meetings, directives mkitakwenda hivi in effect. But above all, from the younger generation, aliona the ticking time bomb, unemployment. So there's every need to create jobs or to make opportunities a real issue. And by that time anakuwa affected by, I think the most popular thing was Tanga movement. It ilikuwa inamu affect. So I think he sounds frustrated but speaks from wisdom, hoping you can listen and pull back. And this is happening right now.
Here we are. 2024. Ameshaenda.
Facing Gen Z's, generationally bongea wakiwako.
Huko majua na nini.
Na Imbambi, I'm very sure
na ni kama alikuwa anaongea futuristically.
Pali hata yuko Imbambi because when once a statesman you're a statesman. Once a leader you're a leader. Once an elder you're an elder. Aikubambi but how to act. Such things wanna act within structure. Wezi anza make movement yako ati I'll do it on my own to provide jobs for young people. You should do it within structure. Although there's efforts to unafanya kivyako, but they'll add up to very little.
Yes.
But within structure, you can do that. But here's a situation where relationship yao hata with the current haiko poa. So hata venye I work with the structure ni hard. Hence we are facing this.
Kuna mali nilisoma, mtu anasema the current even advises his advisors on how to advise him. Is it a case of maybe vile unasikia watu wanasema ni kama gavai wasikii? Juu Uhuru alisema bado tuko na clip nyingine ya baba. Tuko na clip ya baba hata director atacheza bado. Akiongea na student leaders. Akiongea to the same situation. Baba alikuja akaongea kuhusu history ya taxation, over taxation na kitu director tucheze hiyo clip pia. Ndio ni kama hawazai wote walikuwa wameangalia hii situation na wakajua kuna mali inaenda kufika haitakuwa fine. From baba to unye, baba alikuwa anasema story of taxation and how them na Kibaki hawakuwa kukalia watu sana, kufanya watu because inasemekana maji ikibidi mwagike itamwagika. Unaona?
Na kuget because during Kibaki's time kulikuwa na deliberate programs for the youth. Ilikuwa na kadom mfukoni. During Huru's time kulikuwa na kazi kwa vijana as well. Those were direct impact, daily direct impact. So as you sort the bigger picture, nini iko hapa immediately and you hold on to the dream. So such interventions zili solve your crisis. But sasa tuko crisis venye hakuna kazi kwa vijana,
hakuna dishe leo,
hakuna kitu
hakuna dishe kesho, tunavyo dishe kesho kutoa.
So that's why nikisema there's every recipe that adds up to the current conflict. Nilikuwa napata gatao daily iko wapi? Ona hii venye mekam. Nilikuwa napata tao daily iko wapi? Nilikuwa napata iko wapi? Explanation kwa nini haiko ni nini? Nalipa deni jamani, na mbeba doo hivi anapita kiwanja wa ball na doo hivi. Na ni nani ule kwanza hata umjui? Ameingia gava juzi. So watu wakiona hizo vitu wanajiuli.
Wacha tucheki clip ya baba when he was speaking to this.
So now chance is no longer the cheapest. A vacuum is building down there, which Kenya can actually fill with proper policies. But you cannot do it if you've got mediocrity and the kind of rogues and thieves running our affairs. These thieves will take us nowhere. The cost of living, which Jim is talking about here, will not go down when these thieves are in charge. This cost of living will not go down. You see, today people are suffering all over. If those who are saying that demonstrations by Azimio inaharibu biashara yetu, leo wanakuja wanasema baba yuko wapi? Na baba ako kimya. He's not talking. Because they say that demonstrations are destroying our businesses. No, their businesses are being destroyed not by demonstrations, but through taxation. Taxation. Sasa mbwa anakula watoto yake. Si mbwa anakula watoto yake. Sasa wasema ati mkuki kwa nguruwe, kwa binadamu ni uchungu. So sisi we were here. Manake walisema wao ni wanajua vile watafanya. Ati hii deni ilichukuliwa mingi, all this time, all rubbish. With regard to this animal called the cost of living, we told these people several times, you are in the hole. Don't continue to dig. That is actually been the remedy all the times. Don't dig when you're in the hole. But they don't understand. You saw how our members of parliament fought very hard in parliament against this new tax bill, which eventually became now the tax law and act. Because we're saying that increasing taxes is not the solution to the problem we're having. We came into government in January. Between January and February and June that year, the revenue went up by 100 billion shillings. So we were collecting now 300 billion instead of 200 billion which had been collected the previous year. The following year it went to 500 billion. 750, it reached 1 trillion shillings. Without increasing taxes, just plugging the holes where it was leaking, we increased revenue. We reached a stage where we are able to finance all our requirements, all the development projects. To 95% was being financed from domestic revenue. Only 5% was coming from out of the country. And you cannot be one person, you're Mr. President. You are the permanent secretary in all ministries. You are the minister in all ministries. You know everything. Even if El Nino is coming, you're the one who knows the El Nino is not coming. The work which will be done by the director of meteorology is being done by you as a president. Everything, you must be talking about on everything. Even if somebody's wife, the Nini, did not dress properly, you're the one who know. So this is where we have a problem. And so these people, they don't know that they don't know. And we are not ready to advise them because they know everything. Okay? Because they know everything. So you people have a responsibility to sensitize the people. Okay? Wherever you are. And when we blow the whistle, we should see you out. Communist power. Communist power. Communist power. Asanteni sana.
Ni the same thing. Unasikia watu wanasema Agwambo, usitoke sahi. Usitoke sahi. Ulituambia over taxation.
Wacha ni capture right. Mzae amebonga about akiandamana alikuwa crucified that people are losing business, are losing revenue, 2 billion in a day. So where's the 60 billion in a month times so many months now? Swali. But he kept telling them over taxation will waste you more. True to it, true, and it's a fact. Now, taxing is not a bad thing. In fact, uki overtax na uitumie vizuri, you can show for it. It might still not be a bad thing. If you overtax me and I don't pay for my basics, I don't pay for healthcare, I don't pay for electricity, is so much affordable, manufacturing in a happen, it might not be a bad thing. But if you overtax me and there's nothing to show for it, there's a problem. Uhuru Kenyatta had the whole expressway to show. So many other aspects to show. What are we seeing? It can't be all the time, mina lipa deni. Now, for example, tusiende kwa issues, the finance bill has a lot of issues, sanitary pads, cancer, under the eco levy, etc.
Yes.
Let's go to the reckless things. Ukitumia the word austerity measure, measure ati anataka kupunguza expenses zenu ndio mfit kwa. Then on the other hand, expense zenu ndo una increase. Yeah? Let's speak to the 5.1 billion. Wacha nitafute.
Yes.
So that I'm factual.
Yes. In the meantime,
in
the meantime, guys, don't forget that we're gonna give you an opportunity. Kwa Zoom pale, kuna link hapo, enda pale kwa comment section and you'll find the link so that you guys also can get to join us, muchangie. So,
yeah,
keep on. Tuko ready kabisa.
Yeah, let me get factual kidogo. For example, the current finance bill 2024. Unasikia for example, State House has the lion's share with 9.4 billion operations and development. 9.4 billion operations and development. I'll break it down to you. Aya. Alafu wanasema Office of the President has the second largest share of 5.1 billion. Tunataksiwa. Hii ni Office of the President peke yake. Sitaingia kwa deputy, sitaingia kwa ofisi ya Mudavadi pia. And then wanasema amount hivi ndo wanaispend. 1.4 billion is meant for upgrading the equipment at the government printer and running the office. Hello? 1.4 billion is meant for upgrading the equipment at the government printer and running the office. 1.4 billion. Unajua what it means? Unajua what it means? A year has 365 days. A year has Saturday and Sunday. Tunajua watu wagava. Friday waganikoti kwa
mabega.
So Saturday na Sunday hawako. So quickly, if we have 52 weeks, you can remove 1 or 4 days. But let's say this. They give us 300 days of work. Sindio? 1.4 billion. Yeah. Equipment at the government printer and running the office. Inamaanisha every day this item and the people in it can spend how much? Let's say 1.2 divided by 3, 4.
Yes.
These people can spend 4 million per day. Yani wakiamka wanaweza spend 4 million per day for 300 days.
Budgeted.
For what? For upgrading the equipment at the government printer and running the office.
Niko kwa budget.
Unataksiwa ilipe hiyo. So you can they spend 4 million per day. Andika hiyo chini. Hiyo ni government printer. Na hii government printer haikuanga kwa Office of the President. Ilikuwa kwingine. I think internal security. Ikaletwa kwa Office of the President. Hello. Tukisonga chini, wacha turuke Gachagua. The government printer was moved from State House from the interior. I'm right. Yes. So about again 1.6 billion imekuwa allocated for general administration of the president office, while 1.2 billion has been set aside for government advisory services. Let's talk about the 1.2 billion for government advisory services. Again, approximately 1.2 billion in 300 days means another 4 million per day for advising the president. 1.2 billion has been set aside for government advisory services.
Nasky.
For advising the
Nasky.
So, wakiamka hii team, yeah? Wanafikiria venye kuspend? No. 4 million per day. Hizo ni vits 4. Wanabuy daily vits 4. Yani Uber online taxis ndogo ndogo. Wanabuy 4 per day ya 1 million. Ya 600,000. wanaweza fanya hivyo. So that's 4 million per day. On top of vile bado nilikwambia 4 million. So already office of the president can spend 8 million per day.
Bila maswali.
On government printer na advisory. Na you understand?
Nakupata.
Na bado nimewacha ile 1.6 for general administration. What is general administration? Considering wale wako pale ni civil servants. So you see, taxing us to do this is what Raila is speaking to. Taxing us to bring back Linda Mama, taxing us to make sure there's food in schools.
Yes.
Taxing us to make sure the road to the school and to the market is okay. There's no problem. On top of this, bado wanataxiwa kujenga nyumba sijui nani ataishi. And me as Majimaji, najua watu wana deserve nyumba ka tao sahi. Nikiambiwa ni walist na hii nyumba patia huyu. But na katwa na sijui taenda kwa nani. Those are the issues that I think Raila is speaking to. Like, there's nothing wrong to tax, but to tax for what?
Yes.
And then when every claim is empty coffers and we have to pay a debt, now why don't you cut this off and pay debt? Bado tujaingia kwa office of the
deputy president.
No, the first lady.
The first lady.
Office of the first lady. Na office of the deputy president anaitwa second lady.
Second lady.
Office of the first and the second lady combined. I think moja ni 600 and something, moja ni 500. It's about 1.2 again. 1.2 billion. So Rachel na Bibi Arigiji Mama Dorcas both have to figure out how to spend 4 million per day for 300 days.
Na kijana uko nje.
Yani
ala ya kuspend.
Lazima to account for that money they must spend 4 million per day for 300 days. Then another financial bill comes 2025-26. Lazima will spend 4 million per day. On what? Now, maybe there's nothing wrong on 4 million per day. But where is it? On what? What are the programs? You see, Margaret Kenyatta had Beyond Zero.
Yes.
That was adding value to the infrastructure in health. It was not there.
Yes.
So what are they doing that is not there, that is adding value to current situation? That's what I would love to know. Mi sisemi ni mingi, nasema on what? 4 million per day on what? Unaona? What program? What deliberate program that is going to change lives are you going to spend this 4 million per day on? That we can say after 5 years as the wives of the deputy and the president, you transformed a sector of the concerns of the people of Kenya.
Ubajibaji, kuna clip ingine, baba aliguzia vile pesa inatumika. Aliguzia vile pesa inatumika. Wata director icheze. Wanaitwa revenue boys.
But then we looked at the status of the economy generally, and we realized where the problem was. First, we looked at the revenue side and the expenditure side. That is very simple economics. Where the money is coming from and how the money is being spent. That's where there's a problem. The revenue boys, the income tax, VAT, customs boys, then procurement officers in the ministries. Those are the boys in town. They're the ones who are buying apartment blocks in town. They're the ones who are driving the latest models of cars, Mercedes, Toyota, and so on. They're the ones who are building castles in rural areas. They're the ones who are building high-rise buildings in village markets. So if you do a lifestyle audit, you catch them very easily. And we did lifestyle audit, and we caught so many of them. Some of them we sacked, some of them we took to jail, and hired new people.
Bosman, majimaji mwenyewe. Unasikia vile unasema? Baba anasema hizi ganji awase wananunua apartments. Ndio baba batishagi. Baba ana information, anajua.
Mimi si wa blame.
Hizo 4 million.
I miss na blame aje ama boys.
4 million per day.
Ayo umeitwa bash.
Unasema lazima tumie 4 million per day.
Tuongee tu kweli umeitwa bash. Kwamba hapa ni buffet. Wewe kula uende.
Finya.
Mtu tunafaa kublame hii ganji inafikaje hapa? And it starts from way back. And that's what our Gen Z are speaking to. It starts from public participation. It starts from the parliament. It starts from approval of the budget. It starts from the design of the budget. The hidden items on the budget. And to mimi siwezi blame mama boy. Ako hapo. Nini? Bonya. Sitashikwa utanaje. Shida ni these processes that have been taken for granted for so long that Hama Gen Z wanna speak to. The Gen Z are recalling back the budget. And it is possible to recall the budget. They are recalling back. They are recalling back. Toa hii. Toa hizi bilioni za kulipa nani, toa. Weka kwa linda mama. Toa hii, weka kwa sanitary pads. Toa hii, weka. In fact, reject the whole thing. So mimi siwezi blame mama boy. Naweza blame nini inafanya mama boy wa feel wanaweza fanya hiyo. And the buck stops with the pen and the person who will sign.
But government
that budget.
Kuna watu wa government come out. Wakasema vijana wa Gen Z ni watu wenye unafandiwa. Wanasema wasa wa Gen Z hakuna vile hao sasa wanajua anything on these matters.
No, that's a fallacy.
Government sema wasa
that's an assumption. Vijana wako funded na wako funded na frustration.
Wow.
First they are frustrated. Maybe akokole.
Wewe unipatie punchline tu tena. Vijana
wako funded na frustration. Wako funded na do. And I have evidence. Wako funded na do, wako funded na frustration. Anataka help. He help by a party. Na do ya kusoma imekuwa 10 times higher. Akirudi kwa paro anado. Akienda kusikizia mada kwa masikio John iko vibaya. Anko ako vibaya zaidi. Society ataki kwenda illegal. Role model ni illegal, ametoboa, ndio revenue boys. Atafikaje pa? There's frustration. So what's funding them? Number one is frustration. The second thing is being ignored and the system not empathizing with the situation or acting like they don't understand. One tax after the other, more and more and more. Where is me in this budget? Where is my mom and dad in this budget? Now vijana wafandiwi na do because personally I was on the streets, frontline. The next person naona kwa street ni son wangu, frontline. Nani alimpea do? Hakuna. In fact sikumpea fare.
Youthman wako alikuwa ndani hiyo.
Mimi sikumpea fare, sikujua atakam.
Ulitokea tu sisi kuna kijana wako kweli.
Naona kijana wangu wako hapa amevaa kwanza kijana Dedan Kimathi, t-shirt ya Dedan Kimathi. Nani alimpea do? Hakuna. They are funded by what they are hearing. And we've gone through occasions where he wants something, I can't afford it. And I explain. He understands.
Na majimaji lakini wasi pia wanasema vijana pia wao ni kama wanaenda far. Occupy churches. Sawa? Mmeoccupy parliament. Mmekuja occupy churches.
Yes. Church kwanza inafaa ikuwe occupied kabisa. Ona, sikia sasa wewe. Hii church moja ndo Kanyari alitewa condom. The church that speaks to us.
Yes.
Hii church moja ndo Ole Sapit alituimbia mambo ya venye watu wa maandamano ni wabai na faombe pepo iwatoke. Sasa yana speak to maandamano ni poa. Ole Sapit jana amesemaje? Sanwake ametoka kwa gari akasema mimi naenda kukana wenzangu. Hii church pia inafaa kuwa occupied, mapepo reels itoke. Na mapepo real ni stick to the scripture, stick to the truth, speak truth to power. Tell the president you don't want brown envelopes. Tell the politician I don't want the brown envelopes. I want you to live right and do right to my people. When they're okay, we'll receive offerings and tithes. When they're not okay, Ole Sapit alikuwa mbele ya public participation. Anatetea wine, anatetea damu ya Yesu na mwili ya Yesu. For the first time I had an archbishop akisema jo bea mkate tena all my life I thought hiyo ni the body of Jesus Christ. Na ile ni the blood of Jesus Christ. All of a sudden ikawa taxi kipendwa ndio wine itaenda juu. Nikaruwe ni wine unatupeaga kumbe sio damu ya Yesu. Ole Sapit was, so we need to occupy the church as well.
Hapa kwa mekuja sana.
Occupy church people straight joge.
Niliona pale X atole tumbi.
Fake
tumbi akileba akisema mazem kiingia church.
Fake nini?
Unavunja kila kitu.
Fake miracles. Fake speak occupy fake miracles. Shakaola bado tujasolve. We also need to occupy church after this for the right reasons. The church stay to the scripture.
Lakini komanda anasema kesho anatokea. Anatokea. Nganga.
Komanda ni comedian. Ule ni comedian. Kwani umjui? Ule ni comedian.
Yes, guys, we're still going to give you a chance to respond. We're going to give you a chance to engage. The link is down there. It's a Zoom link. So just watch out. Enda pale kwa comments utapata hiyo link and I'm going to signal you when mtaweza kuengage. In the meantime, majimaji, kwa sababu just because walisema majenzia wajui kile wanafanya. Wacha tuone ude fulani alinibamba sana. Anaitwa Essential AC.
Nice.
Akiongea kuhusu vile hizo matax nini. Alichambua jo.
Yes.
Noma sana.
Yeah.
So unajua kuna the right to privacy under the constitution. Sindio? That means hakuna mtu anaweza snoop into your personal information, into your phone without a warrant, hakuna. Haufai. Sindio? But Finance Bill is now proposing that KRA be allowed to get access to your personal information for the purposes of what? Collecting tax. Hiyo inamaanisha nini? M-Pesa statements zako. The proposed amendments have said nothing about it. Only believe. So tuanze kwa bill sasa, Finance Bill 2024. Your amendment, it's being suggested under clause 63. The amendment of personal information yako kwa released or disclosed to KRA when it is necessary for the assessment, enforcement and collection of any tax or duty under a written tax law. So tuende hapa kwa section 51(2) of the Data Protection Act. So this is the act that is being amended. Tuende hapo. Section 51 talks about general exemptions. So exemptions inamaanisha when exactly can your personal information inaweza releasiwa kwa gava or KRA bila kuitisha warrant. It is when, number one, if the data is purely for personal or household activity. So ukiambia Safaricom wa release M-Pesa statements zako to the bank, they don't need to have the bank kupeana court order or something like that. Wataipeana tu juu ni wewe umesema. The next instance ni when it is a matter of national security or public interest. Hii inamaanisha, for instance, kukiwa na vitu kama an incident like terrorism and, DCI or whoever, or the army wants to go through people's phones or whatnot. That is when personal information yako itareleasiwa. Alafu, the third part ni if it is required under written law ama by an order of the court. So order of the court inamaanisha nini? KRA wakienda na court order kwa Safaricom, then they can release your personal information. Tumeelewa hadi hapo? So now let's go to the Finance Bill. So Finance Bill, your amendment enye wanataka kupeana ni they don't want to go through a court order or a warrant. Wanataka Safaricom to just give that information, your M-Pesa, everything, without having to get a warrant or an order. So long as they just tell Safaricom, we want to get, we want to assess the tax or collect tax on so and so. Watawapatia tu. Una get sasa, your issue higher. Twende, obviously, hini an infringement of your rights. Aya. So let's go to the report. Report ya finance committee. So the change that the analysis walifanya is under clause 63. They've given the laws per se. Hapa kwa the whole clause yote ni wao kusema tu what the laws state. Unaona venye nimewa explainia the constitution hapa ndio hii wamesema what the constitution says, alafu wakaenda tasa hadi kwa section 51 of the Data Protection Act, alafu wakasema section 60 of the Tax Procedures Act. Section 60 of the Tax Procedures Act ndio inasema na KRA wanafaa kuwa na warrant ndio wapewe full access ya your personal data. So this whole clause, unaona hiyo clause yote ya the committee, hakuna, there is no recommendation in this clause. You understand? So now let's compare this clause na hii clause 57. This clause 57 ni another amendment kwa the bill, but tutaitumia, I want to use it as an example so that you see the difference. Look at this. The committee notes that the proposed penalty is too punitive and does what? Recommends. Look at that word. Recommends. So they've given the issue, alafu they've given MPs a final recommendation. What should you do? Hapa, there's nothing like that. This is all just an explanation of the laws themselves. What does that mean? That means, literally wamesema tu, tumewa warn. MPs, we have warned you, hii kitu ni mbaya. Like, it goes against the law itself. The laws, the Constitution, the Data Protection Act, the Tax Procedures Act. What you're proposing is bad according to all those laws. Haya. Alafu. What is the next solution? They are quiet. So what does that mean? When they are quiet, inamaanisha MPs have the freedom to either pass the bill as is or to remove it. That is problem number 1. Problem number 2. Nimefanya research yangu. This amendment should not have been in the Data Protection Act. Kwa nini? KRA is not regulated by the Data Protection Act. Hii amendment ilikuwa inafaa kuwa under the Tax Procedures Act. Unaona hapo kwenye nimesema section 60 ya the Tax Procedures Act enye inasema
Gen Z. The same Gen Z unaambiwa juu kile wanaongea kuhusu. Na unaona vile amechambua. Especially nilikuwa nimeona video yake nyingine pia. Alikuwa ameongea story ya cancer. Unaona?
Gen Z wako rada. Wako rada sana na unajua kitu anasema. Let me pick it from my son. He summarized the whole thing.
Yes.
Akaniambia, dad, hizi vitu zikipass mtatuachia mzigo. So in summary, anamaanisha Gen Z wanafaitia future yao. Unaona? The effects of this bill will hit them critically in the next 3 to 5 years when they are on some job or they're trying to lay a background for their lives. So let me speak to what she's saying.
Yes.
So, hii bill ita propose KRA itake over kazi ya DCI, itake over kazi ya enforcement, itake over accounting, itake over our auditor's job, itake over spy's job. What does that mean? KRA wants to be omnipotent. KRA wants to be Jesus. See me in the toilet, see me in the bathroom, see me eating, see me sick. KRA watakuwa omnipotent. Unaona? But it speaks to my privacy, and these are the things when you wali design our constitution spoke to. And on our constitution nasema every person has the right to privacy, which includes the right to not to have A, their person, home or property searched, B, their possession seized, C, information relating to their family or private affairs unnecessarily required or revealed, or the privacy of their communication infringed. This is my data. You develop policies. I'm earning a salary. You have my pay slip. You know my company, where I'm working or where I'm employed. Hey, get the documents that you want. Unaona? So unataka kuniingilia, and what's okay, income is an income. So tuseme I'm sorry to use this example. Sasa insa ngapi? So iko na KRA inaweza search account yangu, sio? Kulingana kitu anafanya. Sini usiku saa hii. So niko Koinange. In quotes.
Yes.
Ama Sabina Joy.
Yes.
Mbaba sakamwani aniweke 50,000 kwa account yangu. So KRA niulize 50,000 ulipataje? Nitamwambia.
Hiyo ndio wanasema wanataka.
Nitamwambia aje? Nimepewa 10,000. 50,000 because of a service I rendered at night. Mzaya kanisukumia kwa simu akaka, what's your account number? Kanisukumia nikasema hata niweke kwa account yangu. So naambia KRA hiyo 50,000 imetoka wapi? Si uzangi viatu. Hainaga risiti. Prostitution is illegal. And I'm also speaking to male prostitutes. Si illegal. Naambia KRA nini sasa ushaingia kwa account yangu. Watu umepataje 100,000? Ama nilikuwa Dubai, nimedance, jo nimetwerk, jo nikapigwa dola. Dola jo. Naambia
nacheki hapa kwa
ati now account yangu imefura, nimetoka Dubai, nimetoka kudance, nimetwerk, kuruka, niko na 1M. Na nimelipa through na naambia sasa KRA ati declare. Where did you get this one? I twerked.
What you hook up?
So wanataka 16% of my twerk. Kuna vitu haziwezi work. Or but let me be decent. Mini hotelia, mini mzuri, mini waitress, nikapigwa tip. Nimepigwa tip. No, nimeserve the whole day, nimepigwa tip. Au mimi mtu wa kinyozi. Massage mbaba zapo, je piga tips so 5. Mwingine 5 nimetreat watu kaa, nimewasha watu kaa 20 the whole day I'm suffering. Kachukua hizi so 5 times 20 juu rent na kama acha niweke kwa account. So KRA nitakunuliza 500 times 20 ni how much? 10,000? Umetoa wapi hiyo do? Naambia ati I was tipped. There are things that can't work in our society as we speak right now. So
na ndo jenzi wameamka wanasema tu. Majimaji hapo kwa Zoom.
KRA wache kwa omnipotent.
Hapo kwa Zoom naona kuna wasome turn up vizuri sana. Jenzi. Awados. Awados wako kila mahali. Kuna Eric hapa, Eric GK, kuna Marcel, kuna Jason, Mosoti, wase wako. So director atapatia chance pia wao waweze kuspeak to it. So that at least waweze kutuambia. Sana hiyo story unasema hiyo ya hizo maganji. Kama mimi sio make sense.
KRA nitakuwa omnipotent.
Nimepiga share.
Ndio nimepiga job.
Nimepiga share.
Pilot. Sikia pilot. Pepeta inawaka. Aviator.
Lazima usimepe dukani.
Hebu naipaka ya aviator Georgia. Unakudai paka ya aviator. Hapa.
Nimetokea mahali. Ghafla. Tetesi ndio yametokea mistari.
Maji jo. Nakukumbuka jo.
Kashika jo.
Ati ndio na Eltezi alinipa. Hawataamini.
Hakuna jo kuna msari kwa nasema. Eti Zakayo alicollect tax zote. Akakuja akapatia watu.
Zakayo. Amizo fake Robin Hood theories jo. Fake Robin Hood theories.
So hapa tuko na Marcel. Hata tuwapatie chance waweze kubonga. Alafu kuna hiyo story ya cancer. By the way, mimi kulingana na vile nilikuwa na cheki, wanasema tax itakuwa ni kwa zile items wana buy na services. So kama ni mnaponisha say, si ndio? Hizo services mna offer. Hapo ndio ina come through. Unaona? Na sasa nasema no. Hii itafanya cost ya kutreat cancer iende juu sana.
Lazima iende juu.
Na the same girl, essentially si alikuwa anasema pia sio cancer pekee.
Yeah.
Unaona?
You see, if we speak to the financial bill 2024, nataka kuangalia eco levy. Hapo kwa eco levy nataka uende chini uangalie hizo items. Finished international product, finished products from outside the country that spell doom to the environment, for example. Nataka uende kwa hiyo list uangalie hizo products. Hata hii microphone iko affected, hii itakuwa affected, simu yako itakuwa affected, anything within that space will be affected by the eco levy. We start from there. So that affects also medical equipment and all other equipment of that manner of sorts. So tuanze ku affect healthcare na hapo. So kitu ulikuwa na buy, for example, simu at 10k, you might have to buy it at more.
Yeah.
Finished medical, finished products per se kwa eco levy that are not manufactured locally. And most of them are not. So hapo ndo tunaanza kwa, hapo ndo impact ya kwanza kwa appliances zinaanzia. Endo angalia tu hizo items kwa eco levy. Utakuwa na pali hiyo ecosystem ni kitu serious sana. Eco levy eco levy ni a very serious thing that needs to be looked at. Now there's every justification government atoa ni kuwa ati wakifanya hivyo, one, itaokolea environment, two, itapeana space ya manufacturing mtaani, which is a lie. Hiyo ni a total lie. Ni decision mekaraka. If you want to build the local manufacturing, speak to the factors of production. The government needs, the bill needs to speak to the factors of production. Even if you gave us, even if watupe monopoly ya market ya kuproduce sanitary pads in this case, but as long as you don't reduce the transport, once you make a product, you need to transport it to point of sale.
Yes.
Second, if you don't reduce fuel or energy for that sake, for the industries, you're not speaking to factors of production. If you don't reduce or excite through taxation of reducing so that things that can reduce the cost, you're still speaking nonsense. So yes, you're going to chase the international manufacturer away or products away.
Yes.
But you're still going to make production of these items be the same cost.
Yes.
And that's why watu walikuwa wanaanza kuprefer hizi products kutoka nje because they were cheaper than the local products. So the issue is the cost of production of the local products, not that's what's coming out or what's coming in or what's coming from in and going out. If they want to speak to the cost of issues, lazima waiangalie hivyo. But if they want to speak to waste management, then they need to put a policy and enforce for both international products and local products. He who produces must take care of the waste. He who imports must take care of the waste. He who imports from where?
Yes.
Must have an agreement with the manufacturing from outside to take care of the waste. So if it is about waste, watuambie they are protecting the environment. If it is about exciting and inspiring local production, then speak to the cost of production. Now, hii eco levy pia iko na impact kwa medical appliances of the same, and that's how cancer is coming through and so many other factors.
Wacha tusikie Marcel hapa, sikia jamaa wazumu wanasemaje. Vipi Marcel? Ni sawa, it's always a morning.
Sasa tunajisahau. It's a lot of problems in this country that unajisahau, unajipata instead of the morning inakuwa evening. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I thought this discussion is coming up now, and it's a discussion that maybe we could have started it earlier. because the problems we are facing now are not they are not the problems of today. These problems started very early, long back, actually just immediate after the independence. So it's an issue that has to be discussed from the time memorial when we had the first president up to now. And it's not about this bill only. It's about everything. Actually, for me, I would think that we need an overhaul of the whole institutions of governance in Kenya. And the most important thing is that we need people who respect the people who are electing them. We are facing.
Anasema Marcel.
Yes.
Marcel anasema complete overhaul.
Yes.
Na hiyo ndio kitu majimaji imekuwa inasemekana leo.
No, he's right.
Gavana yuko inauliza ama hata tuseme mabloggers wa gavana wanaulizaje, how come munasema reject finance bill, inakuwa kama it is the only option. Gavana ikitaka kuongea, vijana wataki kuongea. Unaona? The same thing Marcel hapa anasema. Marcel anasema eti complete overhaul. So that means vijana kile wanataka ni hakuna kuongea. Reject finance bill and then what? Majimaji.
First, no, reject finance bill, we move to the other and we audit the other. The one before, which was at only 56 or 57% success. So
2023.
Yes, we must get an answer why did it fail at 43%. If we move without audit, then develop another one, then we don't know why we are developing another one. We are not fixing the problem. So maybe from independence imekuwaga hivyo. Move to the next, move to the next, move to the next, move to the next.
Yes. Yeah.
But also from independence, there are a lot of things that Kenya inherited.
Yeah.
For example, one day nilikuwa naongea na former Laikipia governor, Nderitu Muredi. Bado akiwa governor Laikipia, akitengeza zile ma BJ50. He found out that on our policies, the Kenyan policy does not believe Kenya should manufacture vehicles, but it should just assemble. So there are so many policies we should speak to from independence that will boost local manufacturing. If we really want to speak to manufacturing, we have to be deliberate and say to produce fuel, energy, and factors of production to not waste time. And we'll sit here next year, another year, if we don't fix the factors of production. Because the biggest thing Kenya has is labor. But the labor is going for export and making things that are not appropriate. We still import sockets. And not because we want to. So if you look at the budget again, in plastic production, which is the major thing in Kenya, inaenda juu, the costs.
Yeah.
Most of the things to now on appliances are on plastic. If we don't fix the factors of production, there's nothing we are speaking about manufacturing. And this has been a problem from independence. There are some things that it was not believed that an African state can do that must change. And that can only change when you own the country. Not when you suck up to IMF, you suck up to America, you suck up. They will not let you own your country. And until they will not let you change those policies. Because once you own your journey, then you won't need them.
Na hakuna katikati.
Hakuna katikati.
Hakuna kukutana katikati.
Katikati aje.
Tuseme tukutane katikati, gava simekuja huku, jezo kwendi bana note. Hakuna gava kuja hapa, jezo kuja huku.
Sikia, ione hivi. Mimi nataka dere. Si ndio? Eltezi atakuwa dere wangu. Mimi nataka dere. Eltezi ananipigia story venye anataka kubai gari. Aendeshe aende. Itakuwaje?
Loba sana.
Itakuwaje?
Loba sana.
Itakuwaje? Na hiyo ndio unataka kubai gari ni mimi nakupa. Na mimi yangu ni ukuedere. Utabai gari?
No man.
Yes, you must walk out and buy the car. So that's what we need to
hata tukipatia watu space hapa hivi. Sasa kesho. Haya. Reject finance bill. Maandamano ni inaisha, bill imekuwa rejected ama finish your question. Tuseme sawa, government imesema haya. History of finance bill kwanza tumeweka kando. Will the Gen Z retract? Ama bado tapush?
No, I think
is only the finance bill the problem?
No, finance bill.
The only problem?
Finance bill is not the only problem. The major problem, venye niko explain tukianza interview, imetoka way back. Lie after lie, arrogance after arrogance, and government yenye iko accountable to its people, decides and tell them this is it, forces its way through. That is the main problem. Then here comes the finance bill. People go through public participation, etc. There's every indication. 99%. There's every indication also that inaenda kupita venye iko. That's the problem. Who is listening? Who owns the country? So the main problem here, if I speak to the Constitution, is sovereignty. Chapter 1 of the Constitution. If that is not respected, we'll always come back to this. Problem with Chapter 1 of the Constitution. And once finance bill imekuwa shelved out, which I think is under Article 104 something, I'm not so sure. Once that is done, I think our Gen Z were so objective in what they want. They want the finance bill rejected and probably redrafted baadaye as we go on with our lives, and redrafted in the manner they want that addresses the Kenyan situation, not the interest of. I don't think they'll have any interest beyond that. And if that happens, it will have proven one is a skizwa and sovereignty is underscored. And it will go on history that sovereignty was underscored on the streets, away from the parliament, and power to the people was restored. And I keep telling people, the concept of a government is sisi tumekaa chini na eltezi, tukachangado yetu tukabai supermarket. Na hii supermarket after si kubai tukaona tuna need manager, tuna need storekeeper, tuna need cashier, tuna need mtu wa kusweep, tuna need security, tuna need nini, tukawavetu kwamba ndio hii supermarket iranini na mtupeleteange maripoti venye mnaran kabla muamue kitu mtulete. That must never change, and that's the primitive description of sovereignty. The supermarket remains ours, you remain the manager and the workers. So the president and its cabinet are our workers. And when that changes, there's a problem. And this problem is under Sovereignty Chapter 1. And that is what the Gen Zs are solving. And we must support them to solve. So that the next generation don't become as complacent as the previous one.
Umenifurahisha sana vile umeguzia that we need to support them. Kuna mother fulani director anatuchezea video. Kuna mother fulani juzi church bado occupy churches. Alienda na watoto wake pale mbele.
Correct.
Na kauliza au maboomers. Mazumers. Millennials.
Yes.
Okay, sisi millennials tunajaribu.
Na akasema Kaluma iletwe. Namjua, the spirit of Wangare Maathai. The spirit of Wangare Maathai was speaking to her.
Hata director chezeo video. Au badali nipunga.
The spirit of Wangare Maathai ilimguza, akasema nitatuliza na Kaluma. We leta kuleta, Kindiki leta kuleta, tutakuwa pale.
Alibaba sana.
Weka tumsikie huyo heroine. Walibonga poa nilimsikia.
Alibonga nilitaka sana.
Nilimsikia.
Alikuwa na feeling, unajua.
But that's what's up. Wewe unafilaje watoi wako wako frontline wa risk life yao. Wewe umekaa kwa TV unawatch, unaangalia online #reject nini, mtoi wako wako pale. Alafu akisha achieve
na hata ndo unalipa kila kitu.
Akisha achieve amerudi home. You are a total failure.
Hakuna kitu unaweza mwambia.
Jo maparo tokeni jo.
Shika fair.
Maparo kesho tokeni jo. Msileta watu down.
Watokeleze.
Msileta watu down. Tokelezeni kesho. Wallahi tena.
Kuna vile ilikuwa.
And especially women. Yeah, because the police fear hurting women. Tokelezeni kesho.
Habari ndio hiyo. Unajua majimaji ile kitu ilikuwa na hii generation. I feel like almost the people had given up before Gen Z waamue. Watu walikuwa na ile attitude ya maliza uende.
Complacency.
Maliza uende.
Complacency. It's a disease. Ni cancer.
Twende tuombe stories.
Complacency is cancer.
Lakini mother vile alikuja akaongea my friend, ilinitouch sana. Hapa naona tuko wacha tulizoom kidogo, naona kuna Jason Mosoti. Mosoti mambo? Alafu guys, don't forget to upunguze volume wakati tunaongea. Hello. Nakusikia.
Kuna vibration. Wacha nikuje baadaye.
Hello, nakusikia mzuri? Tunakusikia.
Kwa maneno ya kesho, sisi kutoka hapa hatujafurahia na maisha. Maisha imekuwa ngumu, hatusikiki, hatuweki malalamishi yasikizwe. Sasa wacha machenzi kesho tujitokeze kwa wingi ili tupiganie haki zetu. Hayo kwa sasa.
Safi, tupatane.
I want to come in.
Ojo nilifresh sana. Ndio kiboge hivi nakumbuka ile story ya YouTube wako, kijana wako. Ulipa. Sasa nikuulize. Wewe ukiwa paro na unajua kuna zile dangers pale watu wakiandamana. Hata tuseme sana wewe. Hebu jike wewe unajua pia ni veteran katika hii mambo. Hata tukikomparo mwenyeji andamana. Unaona? Paro anafilaja this time. Wewe unaona mtu wako myang ametoka ameenda streets. Sinamtisha sana.
Hiyo ndio inafaifanya amke. Hiyo ndio inafaifanya waamke kesho. Kesho ni holiday. Inafaa waamke kesho, wachana mambo ya kazi. For one day kina Kindiki waonenye vitu si venye wanafikiria. I mean, it's just a bill written in words.
Yes.
What's making it a Bible? It's not cast on stone. Kuna sijui nini 104 something, some clause there. Unaweza use to withdraw the bill and go on with your lives. It's not cast on. It's written by 6 men sitting there. Status was saying, let's tax this bread. What? Haiko cast on stone. Come on, if it's disturbing the whole country, put it aside.
Ni yetu.
Si ati ni yetu, ni kitu decide kama si tu mimi na wewe na wenye umetoza mkate tuweke 16. Kenya in a day deal how many million loaves of bread times 16. Hiyo tumepata pesa. That's a good idea. It's not cast on stone, for God's sake. It's not worth it's not worth bloody Rex. It's not worth bloody Evans Kiraitu. It's not worth any more blood. 3 people sitting somewhere or a whole cabinet. Tuongeze 7 shillings fuel levy, hii tatuletea hii. Tutoe sijui pesa pesticide kwa agriculture. Tuweke iko levy, it's not cast on stone, put it aside. It's not worth anybody's blood. Then if it is worth anybody's blood, that's not development.
Yes.
No, put it aside.
Majimaji hata turudi pale soon. Naona Eric ako ready. Eric, twende kazi.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I have like 3 contributions to make. I think the Gen Z are on the right direction, and I fully support them. That is the first contribution. Actually, we cannot live in lies. We cannot live also on promises and promises. We cannot also look at the look backwards and say, because this one happens like this, we need to accept it. This budget making system is where corruption starts. Then I had another issue regarding to the taxes. The taxes in Kenya are too high. Actually, basically, we are overtaxed. People never mention about that.
Where?
Okay, sorry about that. I think there is something on the background, but not from my end. This, can I request if you are on, you mute so that we can make contributions, so you can also have your time to contribute, please. Another key thing about from the high taxation, we have issues of corporate governance in Kenya. It cuts across. It's not only in the private sector, not in the public sector. There's a bit of, I can say, bad attitudes, bad ways of handling things, bad ways of governing. And some of these we cannot also say that it's because of governance or colonialism. We can't link them to that, because after colonialists left 60 years ago, we should have grown out of that. Allow me to go back to taxation again. I happen to be a farmer. I know you guys know KTDA very well. They pay taxes, many taxes. One of the manufacturing company we have in Kenya, they pay more than 110 types of taxes. And this is, you can check in the records, they can give you more than 100 types of taxes. So when we talk of this, that is the only company that produces. We need to be competitive relative to other countries, let's say in East Africa. Then we are talking of us, we cannot be competitive at all because we pay high taxes. We don't encourage investment. And then we will have something like, which we call capital flight. This is where investors cannot look at Kenya as a place that they can invest. So what do they opt for? Wana opt kwenda hizi countries zingine, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, South Africa, and then at the end of the day, our youth will have no job. Now let me speak with the current thing with the happening. With the high taxes, as an economist, with the high taxes, Kenya is not going to be competitive anymore. And actually, there is what we call the bell curve, which means when you tax more, less people pay for the taxes. By the time HURU was leaving government, the tax position was at optimum. If you know the curve, it was at the optimum. So any form of increase that Ruto is trying to do is worsening the situation for Kenya. That's my contribution. Thank you. I don't want to give many points because I may have more as we continue discussion. Thank you.
I think this is economists will tell you harmonization of taxes.
Yes.
And Pia ina speak to what I would call the ease of doing business.
Yes.
There was a time in Kenya,
yes,
ilikuwa documented as the ease of doing business is a threat to investment.
Yes.
Because tulikuwa na so many duplicated taxes. Yenye nafanya mtu I feel, am I really making sense doing business in Kenya? So, let me speak to, for example, the eco levy.
Yeah.
In concept, in a sound poor, in a sound like once we chase them away or make it hard to export goods to us, then we'll develop our own. But in terms of taste, in a sound, Kenyans are selfish. They want the market for their own. But in wanting the market for their own, they are not competing on production, skill, and economic policies. They are just saying Eltezi should not come here, but if he comes, he must be dressed in 2 suits, not 1. If he doesn't have 2 suits, he's not coming into Kenya. Then Eltezi is asking himself, if I can put on 1 suit in Uganda, 1 suit in Tanzania, and there's a larger population in Tanzania, Uganda, and the larger Eastern African country, why not put my company there, serve this population, and let Kenyans deal with their own stuff? But before you know, Kenya won't be able to, what we are manufacturing, we won't be able to export. Since you did this, let us also be selfish. Now, what if they put the same policies on their side? So ease of doing business is a very big sphere that needs to be looked at whenever you're creating policies, because you need to attract, not repel. In speaking to creation of jobs, etc. So I still go back to kitu nilisema. Work on the factors of production. Compete in the factors of production. Is the raw material ours? Yes. Is the fuel ours? Yes. Is the energy source ours? Yes. Is the labor ours? Yes. Then why is it expensive? Speak to that fact. Don't tell Nike not to bring in their products. Or they should bring it at a higher price so that one day utadevelop Nike pia utafika.
Fungua soko.
Ai, wendo Cinderella peke yake.
Fungua soko.
Kwani wendo Cinderella?
Kabla tuende tukukaribu wrap up, but first nataka lazima tuonole mada. Cause hakuna clip nimeona touching. Come on mada. So directors wetu I think wanatafuta hiyo clip watucheze so that tuone how are the other generations going to participate in this.
You're speaking to the next generation or when you're
hata mbele. Hata baba mwenyewe. Atatokea kweli. Kule ndaje?
Baba na asha speak enough. Na baba atu tweet tu asema yako na sisi, yako na majenzi wasikie poa. Big brother is watching and is happy that this is manifesting. He's no longer seen as a rebel. He's no longer seen as a distraction.
Yes.
Why? Because the young man and woman has picked it up and doing the same thing. And beautifully so, ni non-political, ni agenda-based, ni issue-based, speaking to a bill, speaking to the Constitution, speaking to Chapter 1 of the Constitution. It's a beautiful thing, and I think politicians should keep away and just support.
Yes.
And let this flower grow, you achieve kitu inataka kuachieve.
But majimaji, wasa wanasema, it will be difficult history yote kwenda mbele without leadership. Na clearly, Jay-Z hawako out kutafuta leaders. Wow, like, we have this leader who is leading this movement. What do you think about that?
Exactly. Exactly, and that's where the beauty is. But huwezi sema ina leadership kwa sababu inajiorganize, inafika pale, inafanya hivi, ina-achieve. The only difference is that leadership haiko under a political system. Hii leadership inakani kama hapana tuseme usichukue hivyo. Hiyo ni mode of communication. X mtu ni mtu atakuwa pale kesho. Mtu ameinformiwa aje. Ichukue hivi. Tumeenda tumebuy plot. Eltezi ametupatia ploti eka 5-10. Tukaidevelop, kila mtu akajenga kitu yake. Si ndio? But kawaida place mpya lazima kuwe na robbery, wizi, burglary, vitu kaa hizo. Watu hawa ni watu new. Tuaibie police station baada iko hapa, si ndio? Wanaiba nyumba moja, wanaiba nyumba ya pili, ya 3, ya 4, mnakuwa na estate meeting. Guys, security is an issue here, si ndio? Si ndio?
Yeah.
Then you say, how do we take care of our staff?
Yes.
The enemy is insecurity.
Yes.
The same situation iko sahi. So there's leadership. Ni venye ini community inaishi mali moja ikamwa pana.
Yes.
Hii burglary ni too much.
Lazima tudila.
Let's deal with burglary. Si ati who is the chairman of the estate, who is the secretary of the awako kwa yoko kwa atuibiwi tena, jirani yangu aibiwi tena. That's a beautiful thing.
Kesho Tuesday. Ground.
Tugonyere. Watu wa Embakasi. Twendeni.
Watu wa Embakasi.
Babu Owino akiwa kwa parliament pale si tuko
ground.
Tugonyere.
Wacheze kama discipline.
Venye Kindiki hajasema kitu hii kuwa.
Wacheze kama.
Kindiki said everything that the Gen Zs has been doing, they are organized, wamebeba tu simu, brain and courage. Simu, brain and courage. Kitu wamebeba tena ni togetherness.
Unity. Simu,
brain, courage, togetherness. Yes. That's so peaceful. Na wana speak Sheng, wana speak English, wana tena
sana. Wajibaji, wacha tuone clip moja ya Ruto tukimaliza, alafu turudi tu tupatie parting shot. Wewe kama the voice of the streets. The ghetto champion. Wacha tuone clip ya Ruto hapo kabla ingie.
Okay.
Na sasa hivi ile yuko. Alafu tukimalizianga.
Kizeni wa Kristo. Ukisoma kitabu ya Isaya 10 na mstari wa kwanza. Inasema ole wenu mnaotunga sheria zisizo za haki. Nyinyi mnaopitisha sheria za kunyima watu maskini haki yao. Mutajificha wapi adhabu ya Mungu ikiwajia? Ni mnanielewa? Mnaamini Mungu ama mko
habari ndio hiyo. Maji. Umesikia Ruto kabla kwa prison? Umesikia vile amesema?
Pasi amebonga poa.
Naona kuna goalkeeper chache.
Pasi amebonga poa. So tunaomba tu arudi hapo. Na nini mtu anajiita mkutano. Ajite mkutano. Na anze from 90% of this population can't be wrong. Who are the people I want to lead? They say leadership resonates, and you represent the people. And you listen to the people, but you can only shape in a good language what they want. You cannot bring what you want unto them. So ajite mkutano, na kama si yeye alifikiria hivyo kuna maadvisor, inafaa use opportunity ya kushape up kwa fire kabisa, kwa sababu personally I still don't know what we are doing in Haiti. I don't know what business we have in talking at Russia. I don't know what business we have when Baringo mtoto anatoa maji kwa mtaro akujwe. Ajite mkutano. Because I like speaking to numbers. Gen Z wako I think some major percent, millennials wako some percent, both of them wako at least 70 to 80% of the population. Move to their parents. Their parents are probably 20% of the population. So if Gen Z and millennials are 70, their parents are 20% of the population. I can easily say 90% of the population are speaking one language. Who do you want to lead? And to where? Ajite mkutano, afire some advisors when wanalipa 1.2 billion a year to advisors to be in Haiti.
Well, Maji. Ushaisema. Pasi
yako fiti.
Ajite mkutano.
Akaina wale mabishop wale walikuwa na kanae kabla ya nini election, akaina wamwambie jo brother man
unacheza chini.
Jo ikifika mahali jo bishop anaangaliwa kana ndenga kabla inge church yake.
Ndani yake.
Rolls bishop anapimwa na stima jo. Umeingia na wewe unakaa unaweza ni mada, hebu pitia hapo kwa hiyo mashini kwanza. Alafu ndio unihubirie. Hapana vitu zile, jiite mkutano wewe, jiite mkutano. Bishop anapimwa na stima. Kama ana upini, ana mawe, ana ndenga, alafu ndio jiite mkutano jo. Jiite mkutano siko baya. Bishop anapita kwa security. Anasalima church watu lega kusalimia bishop hivi wagani anaomba simama pale usalime, anapimwa na stima kwanza. No gun, no stone, no knife.
Leta neno sasa.
Hiyo nimeona Nyahururu jo.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Sauti HURU. Today we were with Maji na tutazidi kumwomba akipata wakati mwingine akuje. You are definitely mumepata the wisdom in Maji is a great leader, the voice of the streets like I've said. And guys, don't forget to also subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Though anytime we are doing this, you get that notification. This is Azmio TV. This is Sauti HURU. I am Eltezi Mr. Riebebe. Na tulikuwa na Maji. Kwanza kuna kitu bado hujaniambia. Kama ya uliobeka bali anymore kwa hii situation.
Ni Gen Z. Kana Gen Z. Wewe sasa tuotu tulikuwa ma Gen Z. Tabia mboge bozo. Hii kitu inajirepeat tu. Lakini sasa kaende sana. Mambo ikue BA.
Ikue BA si ndio? So hata tuachane ile clip ya ule madam. You were inspired so that what Kenya na change.
And see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Home, telling our children to go. Na tuwezi enda. Jensi ni watoto wetu na tuwezi enda. We can't be quiet, church. We can't. It's not about Jensi, it's about our lives. Home, telling our children to go. Na tuwezi enda. Jensi ni watoto wetu na tuwezi enda. We can't be quiet, church. We can't. It's not about Jensi, it's about our lives. We didn't have internet. We didn't have these things to demonstrate in our days. Si tulikuwa tunaambiwa Nyayo House, sijui who will be killed. We didn't talk. Alafu sasa tunataka tuombe watoto wetu waende. Si tubaki kwa nyumba. Me Tuesday na beba Kaluma. Mgwiti kata. I have to go. We have to go. You guys, this conversation has gone beyond the finance bill. These guys are wearing clothes and jewelry and things on our money. We are comfortable. We don't want to talk about the unholy marriage between the church and the government. Brown envelopes zinapitishwa tunyamazi. Jutuko church. We are not going to call out ourselves because we are quiet. Who told you guys this is just about Gen Z? Wametuonyesha njia. Na sisi majenet na maboomers tukae tuseme ni fight yao, wacha wa fight. Wakauliwe, si tukiwatch. They are talking the truth. I had no Christian place to go and engage. Sasa tunaenda ku engage Twitter na X kwa sababu sisi wa Kristo hatuongei. Hatuko kwa hiyo story. Tusionekane, tusisikike. Because we want to be at the fence, to see offend mtu. We're in the generation of not offending people. Sisi ma Gen X, atutakangi ku offend mtu. Tukaitua hapo, tusisikike, nitasema ni vibaya lakini nitasema chini ya maji. This war is not just about our kids. They've shown us the way, but where are we? Pastor